here. Yeah, she did call, but I didn't.
You haven't talked to her yet?
No.
But nobody flipped your truck in a ditch or anything?
No,
Okay.
no, but, yeah, more, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can wrap this up and get you back to your day job here. Okay, well, if we've left it that, as far as page 13 goes and the committees of the whole, that we'll see how it'll go with simply taking the committees of the whole all together, all of the ones that
Yes.
take D out and
Okay.
see how that goes.
Okay.
And that between staff and me, if I'm needed, we'll look at these other roles of the deputy mayor and see if we can get them accommodated in these council
Yes.
rules. And maybe go ahead and pull out that, the chaplain resolution, see what we think about that.
All right.
Sure.
I mean, it is other legislation, I think, or whatever one calls it locally, that puts the deputy mayor on JADO. That's part of the
Yes.
JADO.
That's in the interlocal agreement.
Interlocal agreement. And then the Healthcare Advisory Committee, not quite sure where that is.
I don't know that.
Well, again,
I'll find out.
I kept a list as all these things kept
Okay.
emerging that I hadn't really known, some of which I'd known about and some of which I hadn't. Just to make sure they were all covered. All right, well, we'll work this list and move on today to page, let's see, 14?
Yes, ma'am, yep.
Okay.
Down at the bottom where the recommendation, is there not a recommendation of approval with changes?
Yes, on line 591.
Very top of 15.
That says make no recommendation.
Recommend changes to that. Oh, you're on, yeah. It says recommend approval, and then this one says recommend changes to the item.
Right. I don't know which one I have.
Recommend that the item be approved.
Right, and then make no recommendation. But where's the one that says recommend change, approval with changes?
Well, that would be recommend changes to the item.
So we can't approve with the changes.
I get what she's saying.
What,
You know what I mean? Okay, good.
recommend as amended?
Recommend
Yes.
approval of changes to the item or something, yeah. I know
Something
what
like
you're
that.
saying.
Approval
Right.
as amended.
Ended, yes.
Yeah,
Recommend.
makes sense.
We're not gonna do, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
Recommend as amended, or,
Recommend approval as amended?
Yes.
Is that what you'd like?
Whatever's correct.
Okay.
Or
That
with,
makes sense.
with amendments. You know, let's think back here.
Or with amendment.
Some
Okay,
things
with
the
amendments.
committee is going to get that the governing body has referred to the committee. So the committee's gonna get a document that's already prepared that they're making comments and recommendations against. But there could be times when a committee is creating something on its own. So we wanna make sure that whatever these action descriptions would apply to both.
Okay.
Recommend approval with amendments.
Of the item. Recommend approval with amendments, is that what we,
Yes.
okay? And that would apply to something that was generated internally
committee.
or came to them?
Yes.
Okay. And then this is a formula that does get used. We haven't had a lot of committee work, but this, being able to refer it back with no recommendation, if a
Yes.
committee chooses, is important to have in there. Okay, before we move on, there's a bubble on line 574,
yes.
but that is simply the name change on the section, right?
Mm-hmm.
I-
That makes sense.
Now that I look at that, and I think Lisa just put that in, so, okay, just want to make sure since there's a bubble on it. All right, then line 603, is this one already changed? I think it is.
I have a question on your change,
Which one?
the bubble,
Okay, on line 603.
600, or wherever it's gonna go
Okay,
in.
that's fine. Just want to make sure we're in the same place.
Okay. It says, shall advise the governing body with a report. Okay, it read, I couldn't understand. Shall advise, let me start at the beginning. An item referred to and considered by a committee shall be placed on a governing body agenda, and the chairperson or designee shall advise the governing body with a report. Items considered by a committee, comma, at the direction of the chairperson or by majority vote of the committee, comma, may be placed on a governing body agenda and report
That-
by the chairperson. It seems like it's two different things. And the report by the chairperson, I couldn't get where that fit in.
Well, that doesn't, and report by the chairperson must not be correct, because it doesn't read very well. So I'm looking for it in the, I have my earlier stuff, and I don't see the text in there at all. So, let's see. Let's just work on it. The issue, what was a problem was, at one point, the text said that an item reported out, considered by a committee, would be placed on an agenda, and the committee, the chairperson or designee may advise the governing body. It was like, well, what? You know, if it's coming out of the committee, who else would report it but the chair of the committee? And there was also some problems with earlier language, because a committee could be reporting out on something that had been referred to it, but the committee also has the power to address anything it wants and have an affirmative, something that it's considered. But also the way it was written, as I recall, I'm having to dig back now, was that, you know, committee might consider something that they consider and then say, we're not interested in it, we're not going to deal with it.
No.
And there's really no reason necessarily to report that business to the council. It would only be something that they either owe a report back on, or that they have considered and want to affirmatively take to the body.
Wouldn't
So-
that also be with the report, though? We report that we don't,
If
They
we've
would
been
report
referred
that?
something and we want to have no comment on it, we can do that, or whatever the term is.
I just don't
No
understand
recommendation.
the last four sentences.
Okay, I need to refresh, so.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I think you're saying, so the top thing covers things that were referred to us, but you want a way to take things that we, on our own volition,
Yes,
took up as a committee, to get them onto the agenda.
I just, at the direction of.
let's see.
So the chairperson of a committee, or the majority of the committee, can direct that something be considered by the committee?
Yes. Yeah, if you look,
Yeah, in our rules, I'm sorry.
procedure for committee,
Yeah.
under A, 8.5A, the examination of any subject can be initiated by a committee chair or by a majority vote of the committee. So what we're going to have is items to report to the council that have been referred to it, or to the governing body that have been referred by that governing body,
Okay.
and ones initiated by the committee.
In the last, like, several words, where it says may be placed on a governing body agenda and report by the chairman, it should be and reported by the chairperson,
Yeah.
or designee.
But I think we already have it fixed by, instead of an item reported out, considered by a committee would include both any kind of item. shall be placed on an agenda,
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
on a governing body agenda. So that's the fix there. But okay, so my stuff was to say if it was referred to, then it has to go back to the governing body agenda, and the chairperson or designee shall advise the governing body with a report. And then it just adds that items that are considered by the committee, at the direction of the chairperson or by majority vote of the committee, may be placed on a governing body agenda and reported by the chairperson. That was the point. That you absolutely have to report back if it got referred to the committee, but it would be an option by saying just same language pretty much, but it may if it was something initiated by the committee itself.
Gotcha.
So that just meant if the committee considered it and said, yeah, we're done with it, we don't want to do anything, there was no need to take the council's time. It would be in the minutes, it'd be on file, people will watch it on TV.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yep. So punctuation and a fix on the word, all right. Good? All right. Page 16, we're done with 15. I think in 8.10, it was a suggestion that had been made that Lisa saw and said, yep, that makes sense, and had already fixed it. So, and that had to do with a suggestion at one point that minutes might not be ready by a meeting, and that it was okay to have them linger. And I felt pretty strongly that they needed to be approved at the next meeting, because the committee needed to be able to check its motions if it was going to take further action. If people had missed a meeting, they need to be able to read the minutes and see what happened, or at least what the official record was of that meeting. Kind of on the side, in terms of serving as your deputy mayor and watching some of these go, I don't think it belongs in the council rules, but having an operating policy that the minutes are prepared within 48 hours. So that if somebody missed the meeting, they don't have to watch a 2-hour video to find out what happened. Or to pass them forward. We get the budget stuff 2 hours before the next meeting. And you don't have time to read them. You don't have time to process what happened. Anyway,
I just remember doing minutes, 2
well,
days.
but making time to do them right away if whoever's
Yeah.
assigned to do them.
Yeah.
It's a staff thing. Anyway, the redefinition in the red is to say that they're an overview rather than verbatim,
Oh, yeah, they should be.
unless we want verbatim. And certainly a record of the action taken. But to be reviewed and approved by the committee at the next meeting. Been here too long. We did run into trouble the last time we looked at this, and we didn't come up with a fix. But we just approved the January 8th, 2015 minutes of this committee, because that's the last time they met, and we're the, quote, next meeting. It seemed kind of silly to me, and I didn't draft any language, but it seemed that we should have an ability for the committee that held the meeting to approve the minutes without having, while they still existed as elected officials and as a council member. And I don't know whether we need to write it into this, to convene a special meeting on TV and all that is ridiculous, just to approve minutes. If there was some way that we could say, if it either allow minutes to be approved by email, report to the staff, appointed staff, or if it's the last meeting of the committee's duties and, I don't know, to provide some way for the minutes to be approved by the people that were at the meeting
Without having a meeting.
without having a meeting and having to do all this razzmatazz for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If I may, Madam Chair, what minutes shall be reviewed and approved by the committee at the next meeting, with the following exception, and maybe then we have like an A, for committees that, I don't know, for committees that meet infrequently or something. I'm just trying to make it up as I go here.
Yeah, well, maybe it would be that any outstanding minutes would have to be approved before the terms of the committee members end. We annually change our committees.
Right.
So, and to me, even if it needed to be televised, if it could be tacked on to like 5 minutes before a council meeting started at 6, or 5 minutes after that council meeting to just meet as a committee for a few minutes and knock out the minutes. I don't know, I mean, there's technicalities that you, legal staff, would know, but surely we can come up with something.
Could you say minutes shall be reviewed and approved by the committee within 30 days?
Well, then you'd have to have a meeting. You can't approve minutes by email.
You can't, okay.
No, you're taking
Well,
action.
we had that conversation then,
Yeah,
when
you're-
we tried to.
You're taking
figure this out.
action and not notifying the public that you're meeting. So that won't work.
Is there a reason you have to approve minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Legally, you have to approve minutes because that constitutes the official record of the meeting. And those minutes are relied upon in court proceedings, so, yes.
How many people have to be at the meeting? Can just
Have
Karen
to have
be at a
quorum.
meeting?
To take well,
Oh.
you would need at least 2 to take action. I mean, you have to,
Should we say something along the lines of what you were thinking, that such meeting must be held? I mean, sometimes somebody gets hit by a truck or something, but somehow to say that the meeting to approve any outstanding minutes must be held before the committee membership changes on its annual
Yeah,
basis?
I'm jotting that down.
Something like that?
That sounds like the most logical.
Something?
That still seems like a long
time to
time.
wait.
January
That's
8th,
why I was gonna say,
2015.
that's why I was gonna say within a certain time.
And I'm not trying to be dumb here, or ridiculous, but then wouldn't you have to have another meeting to approve minutes of that meeting that we just met to
Oh my
approve the minutes?
Good point.
No, because
I don't-
wouldn't you be
Doesn't it
done?
get you
Yeah,
an
there would be no
endless-
business.
There wouldn't be any business.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So as long as approving minutes is not
Is
action.
all you do. Okay.
Could
Yeah.
you approve
It's
those
not
minutes
substantive.
after a council meeting?
You
Sure.
could
You know what
convene
I
that
mean?
committee for 2 minutes.
To approve the minutes.
know.
That's
True.
what you could do.
I think
Yeah.
Could do that.
procedurally you could do that. It's a
do.
matter of how do we build into this that
I
the
wouldn't
meeting has to be sometime within the next X.
I would say 60 days. I wouldn't wait a
Well,
year, half year.
Yeah. At that point, you don't remember if it's an accurate record anyway.
Well, exactly. I mean, much less the 3 of us approving the last policy and
Right.
finance meeting. Hello.
What about 60 days?
I'm trying to think of the rhythm of our meetings. That solves the budget committee problem, because if it becomes the committee of the whole, then, or the governing body, then that
60
maybe,
days.
some of them meet occasionally.
But after a council meeting would not be that big a deal.
Exactly,
to
just to
call-
clear it.
To clear it.
That'd probably be the best. Let's try to figure out some language that works that in.
Okay, so you'll
Is that-
work
Everybody
on,
will be there already. the
That's right,
committees will be
that's
set
right.
up. I mean, it makes the most.
well, I don't
sense.
know that, I don't know that we would want to prescribe how to do it, but that would be a way to do it, I thought. Or just have everybody show up early, whatever. Because it's expensive to do these meetings, even, Policy and Finance used to meet once a month to review the financials. And they got to where they narrowed it down and they only met for half an hour. It was so expensive.
Sorry.
So, okay. Anything else on that subject? Thank you, and we'll watch for,
Oh, your
Something
work
about the
group,
date.
your work group.
okay, we've got, yes. And that's the second paragraph on the text page that was handed out.
Your bubble?
Well, the bubble doesn't give you the text for the amendment,
Yeah, the little-
but it's on
You
the,
gave it, yeah.
yeah.
So, I kind of struggle with this because I didn't know whether you should really say what a group could be. But if you're going to put in like typically such groups will be study groups, yada, yada, I wouldn't put typically such groups will be study groups. I'd put typically such groups can be study groups to explore,
Good point.
and that's all I'd change. I thought about, I wouldn't even put that in there, but that's kind of irrelevant if you wanted it in there.
Well, why is this even necessary? I mean, right now you could do this. I mean, the governing body could create a task force and,
I think it has to do with how much people struggle with the issue. I mean, people joke with us when they see two of us talking to each other at the grocery store. They think it's funny that, that COMA would prohibit us from talking to each other at all. People get nervous about it, and so the fact that people can meet or that they could choose affirmatively to work on developing a resolution or an ordinance or studying a particular issue, it doesn't have to be in there. Mary and I have talked about this kind of thing in the past, but just to frame out that if people wanted to, it's okay.
But,
And that's a choice of this body to recommend it or not.
Wouldn't that?
Certainly,
but is the
Detrimental
community
to
going to
COMA?
see all these?
I mean, COMA's
they
still going to
would be
apply.
public record, there would be council adopted.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, are they going to actually read this and go, oh, that's why they're talking?
She's saying there's gonna be
Know
a
what I mean?
smaller number
Well,
of people
they
in the work
could.
group?
I mean, it's
Wouldn't
a
COMA
matter of
tack
making it
on
clear that
more
if
quickly
if
you had 3 out of the 5?
If the three of us decided that we wanted to invite the public to come, well,
Well,
we're a formal committee. But if
You
we
create
weren't
a
this
task
committee and
force.
we
It's
wanted to
a-
talk to people about it, it would be okay.
It's
It's
gonna
5
apply.
people.
Not as a committee, for the
Wouldn't
three of
it
us to
be-
get together
yeah.
and invite some people
Sorry.
and talk about an issue. But people have been uncertain about those sorts of things.
People outside, not us.
Members of this body.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh.
this
Members,
document was very
that's
helpful
why
for
we're
me
doing
when
the
I,
council rules.
to be able to kind of figure out what you
Oh.
can, what you can't do,
Well,
so.
then put it in there.
I like it because it lets you know what you can, what you can't do, and what may or may not happen.
Teacher.
That's what I do too.
Teacher, may I?
I was thinking on COMA though, if you have a work group of 5 people, doesn't COMA tack
Yeah.
on
If
when
the-
you have a quorum of the
Task-
group?
Yeah, if the governing body creates a task force
So-
of 5 people.
Right, within COMA
COMA's
limits, though.
gonna require it to be open to the public.
But
Right.
she's saying here within COMA limits.
Within COMA,
Right.
which would mean that if you were gonna,
What's
if
that
you were gonna
mean?
if you were gonna gather together a working group of 3 people, that would be within the COMA limits, that you could have 3 people. The difference between having a working group that's been developed and having a committee is that as a committee, we can't talk about the issues that we're dealing with each other because of violation of COMA. But if we are only 3 people out of the body of 10, we can get together and talk about anything we want.
I
We
don't
can
think
work,
I don't,
because we're not an entity.
I don't know. I'd have to look at that further because on first, I don't know that that'll work that way. I don't know that, I'll have to look at that.
Well, members of the body could organize a work group as long as COMA limits either a meeting as defined as face-to-face or a series of emails or phone calls or serial communication about an issue.
I just,
Anything created by the governing body, a task force, COMA is gonna have its own.
It's not
yeah, it'll
created
be
by
a
the governing
separate
body.
entity.
This definition says it would be the members of the body, the members, not the governing body itself creating that work group.
So how would this work? How would a task force work? Or how do you see this working?
It would allow the members of the body,
Give an example.
Gi-
if
Give me a good, no.
let's not use the three of us because we're a committee right here. If three other members of the body decided that they wanted to research service monkeys, they were interested, one person was interested and said, I don't want to research service monkeys all by myself. Let me think of a couple other people on the council that are, might
expertise in this
work
area.
with me, or they might, they're real thorough, they ask good questions, whatever it is. I'm going to pick out two other people because I want to study service monkeys because I'm trying to figure out whether I should even propose anything. And so I want to talk to a couple other people about it, and maybe even before or after that, we might want to invite some people from HHUSA and some animal advocates and maybe a lawyer to sit down and chat with us about this. Before I do anything, I just want to research it. I want to work on it. That research could end up resulting in a proposal to bring to the council, or it could make the issue go away. You look at it and go, I don't want anything to do with this. Thank you all very much. It's over. It also could be where there maybe would be a citizen group that's really wanting to advance an issue, or they're mad about something, and they want to, and one or more council members go, well, I'm willing to sit down and talk with these people and see if there's really anything to it, if we'd want to do anything further or not. They can do that under COMA, both of those situations.
So it's not created by the governing body, it's just a council member wants
Kinda
to
add
Of their own volition.
initiate.
Correct.
and
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
And
Council
get
member
people
on their
together to
own.
talk about and. But at some point, if you get more than 6 governing body members,
It says
At the
and so
meeting.
this says is within COMA limits, and so they've got to know if they're going to pick a couple people out and work on an issue,
they're gonna have to abide by
they
the
got to
open
abide by
meetings.
COMA. Absolutely. And it's always true,
Yeah.
It is,
always true.
it is.
Well, I don't think the rules now prohibit that, but you wanna
Correct.
give some comfort to people by
Correct.
putting this in here?
Correct. Yeah, there's nothing that prohibits it, it's silent.
Well, we could work on some language that might,
Well, or
Maybe some-
spend some time with this and push it and pull it and see what you think.
okay.
Okay,
That makes me feel better.
So,
Council.
some interest in that, having staff spend a little time on that?
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sorry.
With that, we would go to page 17, which happens to be the last page. And that has only 2 small amendments on it.
Yes,
Which
so
staff put in
Councilmember
for you?
Emerson pointed those out.
Yes, just, I think they're just inadvertently left out, just to make it
Yes.
readable.
Makes it sound much better.
Okay.
Okay.
Might want to look in that this 9.2 is already redundant with another section that is in here, I believe. It's under citizen input, and then it's also under just the meetings themselves.
Preservation of order, 4.3.
Because when I worked this before, I remember noting whether we really needed both. I could see how somebody would find it in one place and never look for it any further in both locations, but they really are quite redundant.
I don't want anybody to yell at me, so I want it both places. They are. I don't know if it hurts, but
We can take that
Yeah.
out, and it does seem.
whatever your
redundant.
preference is.
I finally decided it was, I can't remember whether I visited with Mary about it before or whatever, but anyway, it is in both 4.3 and
It
The issue would be, which one do you strike?
Yeah, what makes the most sense?
In one of them, it's under the chair and the duties and under the preservation of order in the meeting, and the other one is under citizen input. So if somebody was wondering what kind of input they could give and not give.
They can decide.
Okay, what did you say?
You can decide.
Well, you have to make a motion to do
Yes.
Okay.
Motion, I second that.
All right.
I make
we've
motion,
got-
Major.
We've got the, look, if we can finish up, just a question. On number 5, the future meetings to be scheduled, council training rules, just need to kind of keep that in mind. It's been floating through the budget, so we probably will get that. On the record fees, legal staff, or Angela, I had asked to have that go back to legal. Has it, where is it?
Since it hasn't been scheduled yet.
So nobody's hurrying?
I
Okay,
haven't done anything with it.
okay.
So it needs to be, ordinance needs to be changed to pull out the police.
Yeah.
Maybe Catherine's working on it.
You know, it seemed like there were 3 different departments that had fees in there. If, so to double check, if the chief wanted to pull his out, then get with him, double check that and pull him out.
Okay.
So we don't even, you know, if you need to give us the original ordinance, fine, but before we even consider it, I'd like to have it updated based on what the staff wants today.
Okay.
Even if they add things to it, just let's do it once. Should we schedule another meeting before we adjourn?
Since I'm a proxy, I'm gonna let you guys.
No. Yes,
Well,
I think,
but you're I think, my guess is that it was delegated for the duration of this issue anyway. I'm not certain, but I know that you're starting back to school, correct?
So I am like for the next meeting too?
Well, I'm not certain. Are you? Was the sense,
I don't think it wasn't intended for her to continue.
really?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so.
I didn't either.
Okay, because I had in mind that we needed to schedule meetings later in the afternoon if it was going to be you and you were back in school.
I mean, I can do it for Richard if he needs me to.
All right. How much time do you think you would need to come up with, to do the review that we discussed today?
Oh,
Oh, I don't know, a week?
Yeah.
Get something in
Yeah.
a week.
All right. When are you back in school?
10th.
The 10th. Okay.
early.
So is this time of day good for you?
Yes,
Otherwise,
yes.
I'm fine either
Yeah.
way. It would have to be if, we'll need to check with Richard then. If you're back in school, 3:30 the earliest or 4? What's
Sometimes I can get here at 2:30.
2:30?
It depends on what day,
Okay,
but I won't know till the 10th on what day that is.
okay. Let's set something tentative that then can be confirmed when we've checked with Councilman Harmon. At least I like to do that, walking out the door.
Sure, next Thursday or Friday.
I mean, can we do next Friday?
I don't think.
next Friday, let me
Oh.
see.
I'm
Can
out
you
next
get it?
Friday.
No.
On the 5th?
Yeah,
Is that the 5th?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the 5th.
no?
I can't on the 5th.
Okay.
Can the 4th? I can the 3rd? Can the 2nd? That's
3rd?
Um,
Can you be done by the 3rd?
I was gonna say, that's getting into your
So
week.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna take that long.
The 3rd would be well, no, I got a job, city job actually, but it's at 2:00 that day. Thursday,
Thursday the 4th?
I have project meetings at 1:30 and 2:30, but,
Okay, well, so we need to meet at,
well, I can send somebody else to one of those, so that's not a huge deal.
okay.
If the 4th works for everybody else, I'll make that work.
On this meeting, the next meeting will be just to kind of review the.
It should be
So it
much
should be shorter.
Why-
shorter.
What about, are we taking it back to the council? Is that what is that the
Not
goal?
yet. Well, that's the goal, but.
The goal,
Presumably
yeah.
after we.
So we couldn't do it on the, right before council, or that day of council?
That would be next Tuesday.
The next,
no.
next?
No, the 9th.
I-
Nine.
Right.
Oh, the 9th.
I personally don't like to meet right before a council meeting just because it's tough to bring it in time-wise comfortably.
So no 5th, no 4th, no
No,
3rd?
no, the 4th I can make
The
work.
4th is okay,
Yeah.
not for you? Three?
No.
No.
No 3rd?
3rd
Third
after
is not good for
2.
you?
The 3rd
But the
after 2, I'm
first-
fine.
The third after 2?
Yes.
After 2?
Yeah, after 2.
I can do the 3rd after 2.
Okay. I'm gonna say 2:30?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That works.
August 3rd, 2:30. Okay, but Angela, we have to check.
We'll have to
your,
check that with staff to make sure they can cover
Right, okay.
also.
And you need
So-
to let me know if I'm coming.
Tentative, and we should be able to confirm pretty soon. At least we save a little time for Angela having to call all over town, wait for us to reply. Okay. Well, thank you for letting us stub that in. Thank
Yeah.
you for an excellent meeting, and we will,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
You don't have a gavel, do you?
Don't need one.
Yeah, gavel.
Okay.